the network for the AV industry.
What are you listening to?
This
is AV.
This
is AV Nation.
This is AV Nation.
Everybody, welcome back to the MHO show. We put some broadcasts together prior to Infocomm. Now we're back. We're energized. We're ready to go. We have 15 minutes to put together a little program, and we want to get this show rolling. But first, let me introduce my co-hosts. We have down from our Georgia area, Miss Melissa Dillman. How are you?
I'm great, Chris. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great now that I am back and the Infocomm worry is over.
Out of the 113-degree heat.
Out of the 113-degree melting pot that we call Las Vegas. It was awesome. Mike, how are you, sir? How you doing? Mike Shinn.
Good evening, Chris, and good evening, Melissa. How's everybody doing?
Doing great. Doing great.
Good to be back. Good to be back. I am also, reacclimating myself to air conditioning. It's a nice thing.
You don't realize the joys of air conditioning until you have to go outside for 2 seconds in Vegas.
It's unreal.
It's unreal. But you know what? Again, humidity in Orlando is a bit crazy for me. So let's just jump right into our 15-minute recap of Infocomm. Keep it short, keep it sweet. I know 1,000 people have actually been doing recaps of Infocomm for the last week, 2 weeks. So let's just get right to it. You go to Infocomm, and what I want to ask everybody here is, or the three of us, we'll start with Melissa. What did you get out of Infocomm this year, outside of a tan?
A tan, got a great tan, that's right. It didn't take long to be outside in that heat. So I'll pose to you guys, one of the topics for going to Infocomm, obviously, is you get to see everybody. It's like coming home. It's a reunion. That's awesome. We get all of the latest technology. One of the things that I find challenging at the show is the manufacturers presenting products that aren't really ready for prime time. So my question is, how much vaporware did you guys see? And, kind of what do you guys think about that?
Next, start with you.
I'm sorry, say that again, Chris?
Go ahead. You first.
Well, as per the tradition for the last several years, we had a number of products that were introduced to us that are very cool, very interesting, can definitely be impactful towards the business. But when are they shipping? We're hearing third quarter, fourth quarter. We might have something mid next year. And the thing that really bothers me about it is these aren't the conversations that we're having in the non-disclosure rooms. We're having these conversations on the show floor with a box in front of us that, for all we know, is nothing more than a box and nothing inside of it. So I think that there's a continuing growth of vaporware that continues to hit the industry, which is detrimental to the industry. I think we learned those lessons back in 2009, 2010 with a number of products that were claimed to be ready to hit the road in, say, 30 days and took a good 6 months to actually get worked out. But, nonetheless, of those products that I saw, they excite me. They certainly got me interested in terms of what's going to happen in the future. The question is, does it belong on the show floor at Infocomm? Maybe for certain partners, you should be showing those products and giving them a clue as to this is what's coming. But I don't know that it needs to be in a nice big display showcase with spotlights on it if it's not going to be something that we can talk to our customers about for another 6 months, say.
Yeah, it's kind of odd when you talk about products that are not available. They're just sitting there and don't touch it because that's just the prototypes type stuff. Could it be the pressures of the show? It's coming in June, and everybody just wants to put something out. And I think it's a matter of, let's get that information out there for the people to see. I don't think that it is so much a, let's just go with something. I hope it's not, let's just bring something and tell them that it works and hope that it works. I really honestly believe that it's a pressure from the marketing team and from the sales team to have something there, to have that news. Everybody wants to go there with the news. I mean, think about it. not just from a product perspective. How many Infocoms have we had in a row where the day of the ribbon cutting or the night before the keynote, we've had a company being purchased or sold or that? They wait until that day. Obviously, this Infocom, that Infocom week is a big week for news and for PR. So I think that a lot of that is driven by that. Now, as far as the technology and the vaporware that we saw, what is the limit on that? Is my question to you guys now. Is something that is coming at the end of summer technically acceptable, or are we going? If you have a product that's not going to be shipping until December, don't show up with it. Is what you're saying?
Yeah, I appreciate the fact that you've got innovation and you've got timelines, and they may not apply to the show. But I really would like to see the manufacturers very clearly state that, okay, look, this product is, I like the idea of putting them in a whisper room or do a private room to show the long term. I think that's cool. But if you're on the show floor, I'd like to be able to say that it's shipping in 90 days versus, it'll be ready in Q3 of next year. To me, that should be for next year's show.
So I got a question for Mike then. Is there a danger in showing something that is, they're saying is 30 days, 60 days out, and you're going back with the, hey, it'll be out by fall, and then you come back and speak to your customers about it, and next thing you know, that thing's not coming out till January. Is that pie in the face to you, thanks to them rushing and giving you misinformation? What do you see out of that?
Yeah, as an integrator, we've been stuck in that conundrum on several occasions over the 13 years I've been in the industry. And we fell victim a couple of times to that whole, we're going to be shipping by August. So we start speccing the product into, our projects and recommended solutions for our customers. And then all of a sudden we realize that after they've signed the paper, a week after we, presented them with the proposal, 3 weeks later we get notified, and that's going to be delayed until November. Well, now we need to come up with a different, solution. Now it's a very awkward conversation with the customer, because if that alternative solution, in order to meet their project goals, costs more money, you guys were the ones that recommended this product to us, and so we're fighting off our back to be able to satisfy the customer's project goals and yet not take a complete bath on the project in the process. So we've learned that lesson, and at this point, what is the unfortunate reality for how my organization operates is when we see something at Infocom, we just assume that we're going to be entertaining it in December at the earliest, and it leads to a longer adoption for our engineers to start to spec the product in to other projects. Whereas, you look at some of the products that were hitting the show floor that may have been launched 2 weeks prior to Infocom, 4 weeks prior to Infocom, those we're actively speccing now, and we're 2 weeks out from Infocom already, and we're dropping those products into specification now. So, yeah, I think that the manufacturers do run a bit of a danger, a bit of a challenge with the timelines of R&D, and when you're going to do a proper marketing announcement and what have you, in alignment with when our biggest industry's trade show happens. But a lot of integrators have been burned over the years by false promises. So I think it's very important that if you are going to show something on the show floor, that you're still 70, 80, 90% trying to work out all the kinks and bumps and problems with. It's probably best for us to just tell us that. Like just tell me that. I'd appreciate that.
You're asking a lot. I understand your side of it because I'm on that side, on the integrator, consultant, end user side of the business, not the manufacturer side. But I think that for a manufacturer to come out and say something like that and give us those timelines, all we're asking for is something a little bit more accurate. Right. Just that, because it's not going to be a good situation left. For lack of a better example, look at what happened with the Microsoft Surface Hub, the delays, and the people that went back and said, it's coming. Oh no, it's coming. Oh no, it's delayed. Okay, wait a minute. Microsoft says it's delayed. Trust us, it's coming. It just kept going on without, going into a heavy bashing of what is happening there. It's finally shipping, but that thing waited 18 months. There was a lot of tap dancing in front of customers that happened. Not for me, but I'm sure a lot of people went out and got their best song and dance ready for it. And it's unfortunate because the reality of it is, until that product is now installed and rolling and people are using it and getting the reviews that we need to hear from our customers, I don't care about industry expert reviews. That's not going to help it. What I want to hear is the end users, because the end users are the ones that are kicking the tires and truly putting it to its test. Not what it was advertised for, but what they envisioned it for. And unfortunately, as a salesperson, as a consultant, you want to tell them, yes, it can do this, it can do that. But what they end up using it for, completely different setup, completely different everything. So, Melissa, I'll hand it over to you for the last comment on our topic of Infocom and vaporware. I guess it became my honest opinion question that we ended up answering.
Well,
so let's bring it home.
I think maybe we've come up with something interesting here. Maybe it's a new way of coming to market. From the manufacturer side, we always introduce a new product and then go, why is it taking so long for everyone to adopt it? Well, I think we just identified why it takes so long for everyone to adopt it, because there's a little lack of trust of when you'll actually deliver. I think we all need to move to the show me state, right? Show me that it works. So maybe manufacturers, maybe we should look at a new way of introducing product and actually getting some of that buy-in and adoption early on and prove that the product works, because, yeah, sometimes you get surprised and it's used in a completely different way than you had imagined. So that's my humble opinion of it. I'd like to see us be a little clearer and have a better program coming to market than just showing up with vapor.
Final thoughts, Mike?
No, I completely agree, Melissa. I think I think you're right. I think that's the main mission of what we're trying to say here is let's be more honest. Let's set realistic expectations, because if you set an expectation, then we are now, as the integrator, going out on behalf of your company, the manufacturer, and recommending your product into spaces. Well, guess what? When your product doesn't work, it's my skin. I'm the one that's going to hear it from the customer, and they're going to say, well, you recommended it. And then guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to turn around, I'm going to turn to the manufacturer, and I'm going to say, well, you told me that it was going to, da 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 da. So, it just creates a lot of headaches that I think we could probably ease if we just adopted a little more realistic timelines towards deliverables. And by the way, I say that not all manufacturers are made the same. A lot of manufacturers are very upfront with that. They will tell me right up front, well, we're aiming for the fourth quarter, but realistically, I'm thinking more like second quarter next year. They understand that there's going to be some flex, and while the manufacturer needs to set a goal so that there's a target to try and try and hit, so that all teams are working full steam towards that target. There are some people within those organizations that will level with you and try and get there, and I appreciate those relationships. Those are the products that we align ourselves with most frequently.
Awesome. Well, there you have it. Thanks, folks, for watching. This has been another great episode of MHO. And did I just say a great episode? Man, that's up to you guys to decide if it's a great episode. Let us know. Melissa, how can people find you on the internet?
Hey, you can always find me at Melissa Dillman on Twitter. You can find me on the Kramer training website anytime at kramerus.com.
Awesome. Mike, what about you?
At AXP Mike on Twitter, AXP Mike. I'm all over every other aspect of social media as well. That's Michael Shinn, Shinn. And, you can find me at AV Nation's YouTube site as well if you are looking for some follow-up on Infocom or want to review some of the products that you couldn't get around to. Chris and I did some fun stuff over at the Innovation Center, and, check it out.
there you have it. I'm at Chris Neto on Twitter. You can find me at avhelpdesk.com, on avnation.tv as well. This has been another episode of MHO. Thank you for listening.